Have you ever finished explaining a complex idea in a meeting, looked at your team and asked, "Do you understand?" And then total silence? Everyone just stares at you? It is the worst feeling in the world. You think, did I speak bad English? Or do they think I am rude?
That is a classic painful moment, Jordan. And honestly, even native speakers struggle with that silence. Asking, "Do you understand?" can actually sound quite aggressive in a professional setting, like a teacher talking to a naughty student.
Exactly. I always feel like I am scolding them. Welcome to Hero English, Workplace Survival Series, where you can learn how to speak like a pro, work like a hero.
I am Riley, and today we're fixing this. By the end of this episode, you will know exactly how to check for understanding without sounding rude or aggressive. You will learn the art of the soft check.
Here is your mission for the dialogue. Listen to Anna. She is assigning a complicated task to Tom. Count how many times she checks if he understands without ever saying the words, "Do you understand?"
That is a good challenge. Let's hear it. Let's start.
Okay, Tom, let's go over the quarterly report requirements. It's a bit different this time because the client wants the raw data included in the appendix. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, Anna, that sounds standard. But when you say raw data, do you mean the Excel sheets or just the summary tables?
Good catch. I mean the full Excel sheets. I want to make sure I'm being clear on this part. We need to scrub the client names from those sheets before we attach them. Are you with me?
Got it. Scrub the names for privacy. No problem.
Exactly. And one last thing, the deadline is tight. I need the draft by Thursday morning so I can review it before the weekend. How does that sound looking at your current workload?
Thursday morning, that might be tricky. I have the marketing sync on Wednesday. Can I get it to you by Thursday at 2 p.m.?
Thursday at 2 works. I just want to ensure we are on the same page about the final quality check. I need an hour to review it.
Understood. I'll make sure it is polished before I send it over.
Okay, that was a textbook example of checking for clarity. Jordan, did you notice the first phrase Anna used instead of "do you understand"?
Yes, she said, "Does that make sense?" I hear this all the time in movies, but I never use it. It feels so simple.
Simple is professional. Does that make sense? Shifts the focus from the listener's intelligence to the speaker's clarity. It asks, was my explanation logical? Rather than, are you smart enough to get it?
That is a huge difference. I sometimes ask people, "Are you clear?" Is that okay? Like, "Riley, are you clear on the instructions?"
Ooh, be careful with that one, Jordan. Asking, "Are you clear?" sounds very military or disciplinary, like a parent scolding a child. Instead, try the phrase Anna used later. "I want to make sure I am being clear." See the difference?
So I take the blame. I want to make sure I am clear. I like that. What about when she said, "Are you with me?"
That is a great casual check. "Are you with me?" just means, are you following the story? It is perfect for the middle of a long update. Now let's look at our hero phrase for this episode. It is the absolute best way to check understanding in almost any situation. The phrase is, "Does that make sense?"
I love this one. But Riley, what if I am talking to my boss? Can I ask my CEO? Does that make sense, or does it sound too casual?
Great question. For a boss or client, you want to take even more responsibility. So the professional upward version is, "I want to make sure I explained that clearly. Did I miss anything?"
Oh, that is smooth. I want to make sure I explain that clearly. It makes you sound humble, but confident.
Exactly. Now, for a colleague like Tom, the neutral version is what Anna used. Does that make sense so far? The "so far" is a nice addition because it invites them to stop you.
And for a work friend, someone I go to lunch with?
Keep it short. You with me? Or just, you know what I mean?
Okay, listeners, let's lock this in. I want you to shadow me. I will say the core hero phrase 3 times slowly. Repeat after me. Short pause. Does that make sense? Short pause. Does that make sense? Short pause. Does that make sense?
Introducing advanced collocations related to clarity and understanding. Sometimes you don't just want to check if they heard the words. You want to check if they agree with the plan. A great phrase for this is on the same page.
I use this one. Like, we need to be on the same page before the meeting. It means we agree, right?
Yes, it means we have a shared understanding and alignment. Another great advanced word is digest. Not for food, but for information. If you give a lot of data, you can say, that was a lot to digest. Do you have any initial questions?
That is useful. Sometimes I sit in meetings and my brain is full. If a presenter says, that was a lot to digest, I feel relieved. It acknowledges that the topic is hard.
Precisely. And finally, if you are the one who didn't understand, instead of saying, what? Or repeat, please, try this. Could you run that by me again?
Run that by me again. That sounds very native. I will try that next time I zone out in a marketing meeting.
Riley, I have a cultural question. In my home country, if the boss speaks, you just nod. Even if you don't understand, you figure it out later because asking questions can look like you weren't listening. Why do Americans ask, does that make sense so much?
That is a fascinating difference. In many English-speaking business cultures, especially the US and UK, we have what is called speaker responsibility. That means if the listener doesn't understand, it is the speaker's fault, not the listener's.
Wow. So when I ask, does that make sense? I am basically checking if I did a good job speaking.
Yes, that is why do you understand feels rude. It shifts the blame to the listener. I remember when I worked with the team in Japan, I had to learn to stop asking, does that make sense, publicly, because people felt embarrassed to say no in front of the group. I had to follow up privately.
That is so true. I once told a client, do you understand? After a pricing pitch, and he looked so offended. I wish I knew about speaker responsibility back then. I am still thinking about that tone. When I get nervous, my voice goes flat. It sounds like a robot. Does that make sense?
Tone is everything here. We are going to listen to Tom and Anna again, but slower. I want you to focus on the music of Anna's questions. Notice how her voice goes up gently at the end of "Does that make sense?" It makes it an invitation, not a demand.
Okay, Tom, let's go over the quarterly report requirements. It's a bit different this time because the client wants the raw data included in the appendix. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, and that sounds standard. But when you say raw data, do you mean the Excel sheets or just the summary tables?
Good catch. I mean the full Excel sheets. I want to make sure I'm being clear on this part. We need to scrub the client names from those sheets before we attach them. Are you with me?
Got it. Scrub the names for privacy. No problem.
Exactly. And one last thing, the deadline is tight. I need the draft by Thursday morning so I can review it before the weekend. How does that sound looking at your current workload?
Thursday morning. That might be tricky. I have the marketing sync on Wednesday. Can I get it to you by Thursday at 2 p.m.?
Thursday at 2 works. I just want to ensure we are on the same page about the final quality check. I need an hour to review it.
We have a great question today from Marco in Brazil. He asks, Jordan Riley, I work remotely. How do I check for understanding in an email or Slack message? Writing, does that make sense, feels weird in text.
Excellent question, Marco. In writing, you want to be more specific. If you just ask, does that make sense? People will usually just reply yes without thinking. Instead, use a call to action.
A call to action, like telling them to do something?
Exactly. Say something like, please confirm if this timeline works for you, or let me know if you foresee any risks with this plan. This forces them to actually think about what you wrote.
That is smart. So don't ask about their feelings. Ask for a confirmation. Please confirm if this works. Simple and effective.
It is time to test your skills. I'm going to play a character, and you have to respond out loud using the hero phrase or a variation. Jordan will give you the answer after.
I am ready. Let's do this.
Scenario 1. You just explained a very complicated 3-step process to your team. You want to check if they got it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Does that make sense so far? Or am I making myself clear?
Nice! Scenario 2. You are talking to your scary big boss about a budget change. You want to be polite and humble. Check your clarity. 3, 2, 1, go.
Closing the episode with a summary and a simple homework task. No more awkward silence for me. Thanks, Riley.
You are welcome, Jordan. Remember, checking for understanding is about connection, not testing people. Your homework today is simple. In your next conversation, use the phrase, does that make sense? At least once. See how the other person reacts.
And tell us in the comments if it worked. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and share this with a colleague who maybe asks, do you understand a little too often? See you next time. Before we go, Riley, I have to confess something. Last week, we had a game night with the team. I spent 15 minutes explaining the rules of this new card game. I was so detailed.
I can picture it. You love your rules.
I do, but I never checked for understanding. I just talked. At the end, I said, okay, who starts? And Tom just looked at me and said, Jordan, we are playing Uno. Put the rulebook away.
I can picture it. You love your rules.
I do, but I never checked for understanding. I just talked. At the end, I said, okay, who starts? And Tom just looked at me and said, Jordan, we are playing Uno. Put the rulebook away.
I can picture it. You love your rules.
Now that happened to you. What would you say to somebody like me to calm me down and make sure I know it's okay? But also to encourage me to not do it again. Lesson learned. Next time, I will ask, does that make sense? After every sentence.